Alrighty, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Daily Roundup webinar, and I'm gonna go ahead and voice my frustrations really quick. You guys want to hear them? You guys ready for this? Yeah. Number one frustration. Well, I'm dealing with this dollar Canadian. It's like, man, it doesn't surprise me where we're at. By the way, we might try to create a little bottom here, but it's not that. It's more equities, and obviously the currency market really can't do anything while the equity markets are just non-stop rallying. I mean, that's it. And yesterday we'd actually shown and this is a pretty good example. You can see it here. Okay, this was a outside day, right? That was an outside day candle. Nice little bearish setup. Like, okay, well, maybe we'll get a pullback, back below 3,300. Nothing doing. I mean, the stock market just ripped right higher, and just ripped its socks off. And here we are again, nearing all-time highs. And again, while stocks are this bullish, it's hard for currencies to move anywhere. I mean, the currency market is just kind of stagnant, and it is very frustrating. The Nasdaq, I mean, look at this, nice little sell-off, closed near the lows, and then boom, big bullish candle today. The Dow, this is not a shooting star, but it was a long upper shadow doji, and it yielded us, well, at this point in time, an up day. So it's really, when we have this continuous move higher in equities and we don't get any two-way action, all it is extremely frustrating for the currency market, because the currency market really is more of a just a vehicle at this point in time to hedge any downside from stocks. But if you have no downside in the equity markets, the dollar is just going to flip-flop around a little bit, right? So you have the dollar Mexican peso, which is a great example of a trade that I'm long, and we had a little false breakdown yesterday. It just bleeds again today because stocks are higher. So when stocks are higher, it's not going to go anywhere. So we got that happening. The dollar Canadian slumped, back towards these lows as stocks are higher. So what I'm considering doing, well, actually, let me ask you guys this. What do you guys think I'm considering doing aside from breaking some keyboards and anything else? Do you guys have any ideas what I'm thinking? Any? Okay. Well, let me tell you. What I'm thinking about doing is some cross rate action. As Simon said, yeah, go rearrange the sock drawer. That's not a bad idea either. But I'm actually starting to really think, okay, let's pull the dollar out of this equation and think about things that we can do other than being dollar related. And one of them in particular that I've got an eye on, especially today after the Australian jobs report, is I'm going to be watching this Aussie New Zealand. Okay, so the Aussie Kiwi, as you've probably seen, or actually let me take that back. If you've seen the Kiwi dollar almost hit 65 cents and then we bounced, and we're back to positive on the day. That's after a pretty dovish RBNZ. So what that suggests to me is, even though the Kiwi's not really moving a whole lot, that the market's probably still short, covering up some shorts, that type of thing. So if the Australian jobs number is weak, what I'm thinking is that we had a little false breakout yesterday and a move back below 108 let's just call it 108.50, and we're at 108.80 right now, right? So it's not asking for a whole lot, but if we move back below 108.80, I'm actually, or 108.50, I'm actually thinking that the Aussie New Zealand might be a short trade back towards the 106 level in the next week or two. And really, I wish I had more, you know, I mean, if you think about like this range, right? This is, let's do it like that, right? So you have the upper end of your range around 109, lower end of your range around 106. I mean, if you go from 108.50 back to 106 over the course of the next week or two, that's not a bad trade, especially, like I said, you're removing the dollar out of the equation, which in my opinion isn't a bad thing right now. In this environment, the dollar will be favored one direction or the other. You know, as most of you know, I'm really waiting for the euro, hopefully, to get back down towards 116, because I want to be a buyer there. That's ultimately what I'd love to do. I want to be a buyer if the euro gets down to 116. But based on yesterday's price action, I mean, look at this, the bounce we had right from this the range bottom. You know, I mean, we were near 117 overnight, and then here we are back at the range highs. You know, at this 1.8. Well, we're actually mid-range. Range high would be 119. 118 and change is where we were at. We hit the top of the, you know, resistance zone today, and we're still elevated. So the fact of the matter is, I'd rather just, you know, wait for some extremes here in the dollar versus, you know, trying to play the dollar at this point, because playing the dollar is extremely, as you guys know, extremely frustrating. One of the last things I want to talk about really quick is the dollar Mexican peso, which is down at support. And I don't, even though I'm long the dollar Mexican peso, I don't necessarily think this is the right trade right now, because, I mean, if you look at stocks, they're up where we're at, and it's you know, are they going to correct? Well, I mean, if they do, we would see a bounce on the dollar Mexican peso. But tomorrow is Banxico's rate decision, so that might actually move us out of this range. We are expected to go from 5% to 4.5%. So the Banxico is supposed to cut rates by half a basis point, but you know, will that be enough, or maybe further guidance might be enough to push us out of this 2225 to 2260 range? You know, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping we might get some volatility out of here. But as far as right now goes, it is extremely, like I said, trying to trade the dollar right now is very, very frustrating. It's directionless. There's, you know, when stocks continue to grind higher, I'm getting to the point where I'm going to pull the dollar out of the equation and start looking at some of these cross rates. One of the other things I have to point out is obviously yields are moving higher, which the dollar yen has been very how should I say it? It's been very correlated to yields. So, you know, as yields have moved up, the dollar yen has broken higher through this channel. We are stalling at the 50% retracement, which, you know, you guys know if you were listening earlier on the FACE webinar, you know, resistance. Did I write down 107.70? Oh, I guess I wrote down 107.70 in case we broke the 50%, because we were at the 50%. But being at the 50% retracement, you know, this is obviously, you know, some resistance. If you use ForexAnalytix, we've talked about the intraday resistance at the 50% retracement here at 107.20. That's capping rallies right now, but if yields continue to go up, then, you know, the dollar yen will probably break higher. So just, you know, if you're following yields, maybe the dollar yen is going to be the one that moves in coordination with that. And I guess one other thing is I should say is just talk about gold. Gold Nice recovery after slipping below the. I mean, how many stops were below 1900 yesterday? They got triggered, probably a lot. You can see it right here, right? A lot of stops got triggered through there, and you know, that was as we broke back below those previous all-time highs. Now we've bounced back, and you know, gold's, like I said earlier, it's probably going to be in a consolidation between 1900 and 2000. So just, you know, trade accordingly. I guess if it gets up towards 2000, you might be able to play it with some two-way action, and you know, it gets down below 1900, you might be able to play it on the long side. And like Didier said, other than that, buy Tesla and Bitcoin. Ha ha ha. Probably not a bad idea. Actually, you know, I hadn't looked at cryptos all day long. It's like last of my focus, but we did actually bounce from this, you know, I guess you could say it's wedge support, you know. So that's good. I guess if you own cryptos, Ethereum's still holding up. All right. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening in today. I wish there was more to report, and I wish I wasn't so frustrated. And if I come across being frustrated, maybe it's just a case of the summertime blues, which I was so excited going into the summer. I was so excited that we might have some extra volatility, more so than we've had in previous summers, but it looks like we might just end up having more of the same until the end of this month. I'm hoping not. I'm really trying to stay optimistic, but it is what it is. All right, guys, have a great one. Thank you guys so much for listening in. And Alan said time yet. Yeah, there's still time left in the month. That's right. Martin asked about the loonie. Yeah. Oh, I think I mentioned it earlier, but let me just talk about it really quick as far as the dollar Canadian goes. We're trying to hold these lows, but I'm not optimistic that we're going to be able to hold this support. We really have to get above the 132.70 to squeeze. And again, that is not happening while stocks are up here. Stocks do have to come down in order for the loonie and like the Mexican peso for those pairs to squeeze a little bit. And to me, it looks like stocks are just holding their gains, waiting for the next leg higher. Anyway, have a great one, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.